Hi, my name's Mark. I'm one of the pastors here at Trillium. Several months ago, in fact, I don't remember exactly how long ago it's been, a group of scientists came forward and had a press conference. They had discovered the Higgs-Boson. It was this mystery particle that they've been looking for years, decades even. And they had finally found it. They had this big collider in Switzerland, the Hadron Collider, that allowed them to be able to look for the Higgs-Boson. But as the press conference went forward, I realized that what they had found wasn't the Higgs-Boson at all. What they had found was the effects of the Higgs-Boson. This hypothetical particle, if it was real, would have certain effects on the environment. And they found evidence for the Higgs-Boson in the way that it impacted on the environment. In fact, one reporter asked them if they actually had seen the Higgs-Boson, and the scientists scoffed at the idea. It's far too small, far smaller than an electron. There's no way you could see a Higgs-Boson with the naked eye, even aided by a microscope of any size. And yet, there's something quite profound in that. And I was thinking about that for love too, that, we talk about love, but what we often talk about is the effects of love, not love itself. So love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast, love is not envious, it does not rejoice in evil, it rejoices in the truth. That's from 1 Corinthians 13 by the Apostle Paul. And Paul's talking about the effects of love, but he's not talking about love itself. He's talking about its effect. And it's interesting to me that those New Testament writers, they chose this obscure Greek word agape to inform the people they were writing to about love, as if God's love was removed from the normal ways of understanding love. Storge, eros, philos, the three common words for love in Greek, well, everybody understands them. We all understand that instinctual love to protect, or the romantic love, the love based on attraction, or the love that comes out of the camaraderie of shared experiences with people we would call friendship love. We all understand that. But the New Testament writers didn't choose any of those three words. They chose agape, as if to emphasize to us that the love that comes for us from God is very different from the world. And it's hard to translate this word. We translate it as unconditional love, true love, perfect love, total love. It makes me think of that word unconditional love. I mean, we can say it, but how many of us have really experienced unconditional love in our lives? I mean, it's like me saying infinite. I can talk about infinity as if something goes on forever, but in truth, I don't really understand that. I can't understand the word even if I can say it. And I think unconditional love, as much as many of us long for it, we hope for it, it's actually beyond our day-to-day experience. And yet, this is the common word to use to describe what is being got at in agape, this unconditional love. And I think we can no more understand unconditional love than we can understand infinity as human beings. It's interesting to me that I think most of us hope that we would parent our children with unconditional love. And yet the truth is, parenting is a very humble exercise, because we often find that, in fact, we're not able to do it. Or maybe we have moments when we can get to that place of unconditional love for our children, but so often there are implied conditions. We have certain frames and sensibilities we project onto our kids, and unconditional love gets mixed up in everything. That's why I think Jesus, when he said one time, he said this, or what man is there among you who, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone, or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, and he doesn't mean morally evil, he means you being egotistical, self-centered, are able to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? And so here we have maybe a partial explanation of why they chose agape, just to emphasize that the love that we experience in the world is different from the love that God offers us this day. I think that one of the ways that we can get at this agape is if we understand that we have this lens inside of ourselves. So there's this lens, and it's gotten covered with dirt. We've put dirt on it from our fear. We've been taught to see life in a certain way. Our fears and the darkness of our thinking obscures this vision in us, and we have become to the point where we can't really see reality the way it is. It's as if we live in this world where there's an overcast sky about us, and love shines, but it gets blocked by the cloud work above us. And we don't recognize that there's this brilliant, glorious sun shining on the other side of the cloud. I wear glasses, and I'm amazed at how much dirt I can endure on my glasses, and before I finally clean them off. I'm amazed how much dirt I can endure on my windshield of my car, or the windows in my home, how much light gets obstructed by all the dirt that gets on them, to the point where finally I recognize that something's getting obscured here. It's interesting, Our spiritual task is not to explain love or even to create love. It's simply to take away the obstacles that allows us to have an awareness of love's presence. This common message in the New Testament that God's grace is about us, that God's goodness, God's overflowing desire to bless us, to give us gifts beyond our understanding just keeps coming at us, these waves of grace. And if we could just see the light around us, we would recognize who we are with this day. And if we knew that, then we would know who we are. So how do we get about cleaning that glasswork inside of us? How do we get about getting our inner perceptions and that frame by which we see life corrected so that we can become at one with ourselves and with our Creator? And I don't have any easy solutions to you for this, because it is a deep practice for us this day to begin that inner cleaning inside of us, to get that inner lens cleaned up so that we can see life as it's meant to be lived. But I will make one suggestion to you. That is to become conscious of how we think and move in the world. Just to become conscious of that. And to be humble enough to recognize that we have so much to learn about love. I mean, that is part of how we grow, is by just recognizing how much we have to learn. And if we understood that our normal sensibilities around love can't take us very far in this journey, that we need to set them aside and open ourselves and our hearts and minds to a different understanding, well, that would be a huge step in the right direction. We would be open now to being taught by God how to remove the obstacles, and then we would be able to experience this love. We'd see it not just for its effects, but we would know it in our hearts and minds this day. We would be at one with ourselves, with our Creator, with our brothers and sisters in this world. This world would be a place of the most deepest peace, even just for a moment. And I pray that you'll take time to think about how to clean that inner lens of your thinking this day, of your mentality, and create for yourself an opportunity to be blessed by God by seeing life as it is. Go in peace. Embrace all the light that has been shining on you forever in this moment, that you may be truly the child of God.